causing a condition called hypoxia, a lack of oxygen in the water, which leads to a dead zone. This is called eutrophication, and is not healthy for the water, the marine life, and the humans near it.
Last year, Lake Erie was coated in this kind of algae. The Gulf of Mexico is the same problem, and algae blooms are growing. A major cause of hypoxia is agricultural runoff from farms. Farmers apply fertilizer to the fields, and after it rains, the nutrients run off into nearby water sources.
Normally, algae blooms to this degree do not form. Nitrogen and phosphorus are necessary for life, but cause problems when they are present in large amounts. When there are more nutrients than normal, nutrient overload and eventually pollution occur.
The Illinois Nutrient Loss Strategy outlines our state's plan to reduce nutrient overload to bodies of water. Their end goal is to reduce nitrogen by 15% and phosphorus by 25% by 2025. The United States Environmental Protection Agency has mandated that the 12 states in the Mississippi River Basin, including Illinois, need to reduce their nutrient runoff.
Nutrient loss relates to the human water cycle because it is how humans dispose of water as it runs off of farms. We need innovative solutions that can remove excess fertilizer before it gets into a stream.
Our solution is to improve a filter strip by planting seeds using a drone. Filter strips are land areas with plants to drink up nutrients that would normally run off of farms. They are placed either on the borders of farms or next to streams and creeks.
A drone can plant seeds at less than 6-second intervals and save humans the equivalent of 2 marathons of work per day. This solution has the potential to limit agricultural runoff and help Illinois meet the federal EPA standards. We found several solutions that don't solve the problem sufficiently.
One existing solution is an artificial floating island, a plastic island containing aquatic plants to drink up excess fertilizer. This solution is not effective in moving bodies of water because it isn't tethered to anything. This will work in small lakes and ponds, but will not work on farmland.
Another solution is the Conservation Reserve Program, in which environmentally sensitive land is taken out of crop production and is planted with strategic grasses and legumes. A major drawback is the 10-year time commitment required. Many farmers don't want to lose crop production for that long.
Another existing solution uses aluminum or iron salt compounds to precipitate nitrogen and phosphorus from the water. This solution is used in water treatment plants when they can collect the elements, but it is too expensive and dangerous for streams.
There is also a solution called a bioreactor, which is a ditch filled with certain types of wood chips. However, the wood chips need to be replaced after several years, and the cost of that adds up.
None of these solutions solve the problem of removing excess nutrients sufficiently. Our team wants to improve an existing solution using innovative technology.
The Minnesota Department of Agriculture uses filter strips and farmland extensively. The plants absorb nutrients, provide cover for animals, help reduce erosion and flooding, and reduce sediments in water. Filter strips are effective, and we want to improve that solution by using drones to plant additional target plants that boost performance.
Our solution uses the biocarbon engineering quad drone, costing about $18,000 per drone. It has a camera for mapping the land, learning about the terrain, and finding obstacles in the planting zone. The drone also has an air-powered device to help shoot the seeds into the ground. The seeds are coated in a gel to help them germinate. This drone is the best choice for the job because it is currently used to plant trees in hard-to-reach areas.
Our drone plants western wheatgrass and alfalfa, a grass and its companion legume. After reading the Illinois filter strip standards, we found out that these plants can tolerate moist conditions, which would be good because it would be placed in areas to absorb runoff.
We shared our solution with many professionals who would benefit from this solution.
We shared with the Kane and DuPage County Soil and Water Preservation District. They run the Conservation Reserve programs. We learned that the state government pays 50% of the initial cost and rent each year for the 10-year contract.
They shared that the current standards do not recommend aerial seeding because there is no guarantee that the seeds come in contact with the soil. Our solution overcomes this obstacle because seeds would be shot with such force that they would penetrate the soil. We could also join in the Conservation Stewardship Program, which is more accepting towards new methods.
To learn about fertilizers and problems facing today's farmers, we interviewed Colin Reeser, a fifth-generation farmer from Champaign. To learn about drones, we contacted 2 drone companies, Drone Seed and Biocarbon Engineering. We shared our solution with the Illinois EPA and the Illinois Department of Agriculture.
We also shared our solution with Laurel Lurkins, who works for the Illinois Farm Bureau. Along with telling us about other government programs for farmers, she thought that our solution would work to limit fertilizer runoff and nutrient overload.
To implement our solution, first we would finish developing and test seed combinations. Next, get approval from the Federal Aviation Agency to fly our drones, and then determine which priority watersheds to focus on.
Our solution is innovative and effective and can limit the fertilizer runoff from farms that cause algae blooms, hypoxia, and an unhealthy underwater ecosystem.
Yeah, very good. Good job. All right, first of all, how did your team decide which problem to study?
Well, we all like researched problems that we thought affected humans or just anything, and we all came in and for a couple weeks we just looked at that, and then we made basic like bullet points on what the problem is, and then we voted, got it down to 2, and then
One team member found a drone that plants seeds after forest fires. And yeah, that's how we got inspiration for our filter strip. Since our problem included trying to somehow prevent the excess nutrients from getting into the water and feeding the algae, which causes hypoxia.
What was the most helpful resource that your team used and why was it helpful?
I would say that near the end of the season, we still had some gaps in our solution, and as terrorists, we wanted to make sure that we're solid for the tournament. So we phone called, like we said in our script, we phone called Laurel Lurkins, who works for the Illinois Farm Bureau, and she really answered the majority of our questions right near the end of our thing, so that was a very, very helpful resource.
How did your team organize and use its research?
Do you want to talk about the Google Drive?
Yeah, well, we have a shared drive that all of our team members can access. We have folders in it, and we have like research documents, solution documents. So if someone does research, they can put their documents in there, and then everyone can see them like before the next meeting, so that maybe they could look at that too. We also organize a bibliography.
What do you think the most important thing that you learned about your problem or solution is?
I feel that like not many of us knew how big of a problem it was. Like we didn't know that like fertilizer could affect this in such a big way.
Because we all thought, honestly, when you're coming in, that fertilizer was all a good thing. And it came as a bit of a surprise to most of us that.
And I personally didn't know that algae blooms were bad, and so, yeah.
Did your team consider multiple solutions?
Yes.
Yes.
What we did is we voted on them and to try to narrow down the best solutions with the most possible different ways that we could try to prove it.
I do want to talk about the two solutions that we were
Yes.
between.
So we were stuck between, at first, improving an artificial floating island, which we do mention in our script, or a filter, like making a chemical filter. But then there were problems with both. We eventually tried to start working with the filter, and we made that our temporary solution. But then, like we said, a team member came in with new information and that we all found interesting, and then we decided to like go the other way.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.